Welcome to CondoLogy.
We have reached an important moment. It's a question of sending the annual contributions to the co-owners who are in the register of the condominium. And we will also send the annual contribution for the affiliated syndicates. So in the budget items, we have items which were allocated to the main syndicate, which was a pure expenditure. There are others which were an expenditure redistributed between the syndicates. We can see it if we go down here. We had a few, at that time. The total of all these budget items gave an amount which is redistributed between the co-owners according to their shares in the condominium, and those whose expenses were redistributed were divided between the syndicates. Now we're going to go inside our register of the condominium, but this time, we're going to go into follow-up annual contributions. To send an annual contribution, of course, there are conditions whether in the register of the condominium or in the register of syndicates. It requires a date of sending the contribution and the status of the contribution to send. So, if we wanted, we could send all the annual contributions in bulk. It's simply a matter of doing, edit, and setting a sending date, then placing a contribution status, and then we could click on the button, send an annual contribution. Everyone would receive it, but of course, you have to be certain of what you are doing. We're going to go more simply, we're going to go with the first. Here at the top, we're going to select it, we're going to do, edit. It's the same procedure for the register of syndicates. So we're going to say date of sending the annual contribution. Let's say today, it could be in the past, at the beginning of the year. Depending on the start of your fiscal year. The status of the annual contribution, we mentioned that it had to be sent. So at that time if we apply, and we say, yes, there you go. So, it just appeared here, we can send our annual contribution. Now, if we go to our email inbox, we should have an annual contribution, which has just arrived. If we go to the contribution, we can see that the name of the co-owner is there, the unit number, and as well as the amounts of the contribution. We return or to the CondoLogy application. We will go to the register of syndicate. It's the same process. However, here, we can go to the right. We see that the status and date of send are at the end of the lines completely to the right, and we have the buttons here to send the annual contribution. It's the same principle. Once the conditions are completed, we can select en masse, and at that moment, we could send the annual contribution to the syndicates at the same time, simultaneously. We will select here, and we will do, edit. We will mention the sending date, so we will put the same day, and we will say the status of the annual contribution. We will say again that we need it as status, send. All the conditions are met. This time, we can send the annual contribution to our syndicates. So, we click here. We do. Yes. At this point we direct inside our email box, and we should receive the annual syndicate's contribution. Once again, in the annual contribution, we have the name of the manager, the name of the syndicate, and the details of the contribution amounts. This is how we proceed to send annual contributions to both co-owners and syndicates.